This channel is not about promises, it's about testing strategies. Today we are putting another strategy to the test under real casino conditions. Every bet is tracked, every decision matters, and discipline is the only edge we have. Whether this works or fails, you're going to see it live, right here in real time. Welcome to Casino Wars. Quick disclaimer before we get started. This video is for entertainment and educational purpose only. I am not claiming guarantee wins, and this is not financial advice. Roulette is a game of chance and results vary. Always gamble responsible, set limits, and never play with money you can't afford to lose.
Hey, what's up there, roulette players? What's going on? I got a system. Gonna be a $500 bankroll. We're gonna get 100 chances at this. We don't increase the bet. We do not martingale. We don't do anything. We're gonna start at $5 and we're gonna try to multiply it up. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the longest one dozen that's hit. 31, 35, 21, 20. Okay, it's gotta be this first one. So we're gonna put $5 there and spin. $27, that's a loss. So that's one miss. Gonna be keeping track on my paper here. So we rebet and spin. It's still the longest since it's hit. 14. That's a miss. Rebet and spin. That's 7. That's finally a hit. So now we're going to go 5 here, 5 here, and we're going to go ahead and spin. There's a 30 below, red. All right, that's a miss. So that's our third bullet. So we're going to put $5 there. Wait. No, the longest since it's hit is this one. Spin. That's a 6. That's a miss. So we're just going to rebet and spin. That's our 5th. Going on to our 6th bullet. Rebet and spin. $18 red. That's a hit. Longest one since the hit. 18, 34. Would be this one. Put 5 there. And actually we're going to put 5 here. 5 here. And we're going to go ahead and spin. Woo! 23 red. That's a miss. So now we're going to rebet. No, we're not going to rebet, sorry. So now we're going to put 23, 18, 34. All right, we'll put 5 there and spin. $24 black. That's a miss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 0. That's no good. It's another miss. Rebet and spin. That's a 1. That's a win. So now we're going to take longest one since it's hit, 1 and 24. So it would be this one, 5. And let's go with the high numbers and spin. It's a 30. All right, that's what we do with that is we just rebet and spin. That's a 2. That's a loss. So we're going into our 10th bullet. 2 and 30. So it'll be this middle column. $5 and spin. So 2 black. All right, that's a miss. So we're going to rebet and spin. It's the 11th bullet. 31 black. It's a miss. Rebet and spin. That's a 20 black. All right, that's a hit. So now we're going to go longest since this hit. 31, 20, 31, 2, so 5. I'm going to put 5 there and spin. It's a 5 red. That's a good one. It's a $5 hit. So we're just going to rebet, and spin. $36 red. All right, that's a loss. We'll go for the middle and spin. That's a 0. That's no good. Rebet and spin. $12 red. It's another loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. $20. That's a win. Okay, so the longest since his hit was 20 and 12, so it would be this. 5. And we're going to put 5 on this side now and spin. It's a 22 black. That's a miss. So that's the 5th one. So now longest one since it's hit. 22, 20, 12. So this one, 5 and spin. To 5 red, that's a miss. I'm gonna rebet and spin. 4 black, it's another miss. Rebet and spin. 35 black. All right, that's a good one. Okay, so now we're going to rebet. No, we're not. Longest since it's hit. That middle one. So we're gonna do 5. And we're gonna do the center and spin. That's 25 red. That's no good. So we lost another 5. So we're gonna go ahead and go 25, 35, 4. The longest since it's hit was this one. And spin. All right, and longest since it's hit, 25, 35, 4, 5. Maybe this one, 5, and spin. That's a 25 red. That's a miss. Okay, so we're gonna rebet and spin. $21, that's a hit. So, longest since it's hit. This one. So we're gonna go in the center and spin. It's a 2. That's a good one. Not a great one, but it's a good one. So we're just gonna, with that, we just rebet and spin. That's a 16 red. That's a loss. Okay, this one, 5, and spin. Rebet and spin. It's an 11 black. That's a loss. Rebet and spin. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 19 red. That's a loss. Rebet and spin. That's a 14 red. That's another loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 3 red. That's another loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's an 8 black. That's another loss. Rebet and spin. That's a 30 red. That's a win. Alright, so now the longest since it's hit. $30, the longest since it's hit was 30, and then 8 and 3, 14, the middle. So we're going to put 5 and 5 and spin. That's a 35 black, that's a loss. So now we're going to rebet. Nope, we're going to go the highest, 30 and 35, 8. So it'll be the middle, and spin. It's 23 red. All right, that's a win. So now the longest since it's hit, 23, 35, So it's got to be the first one. So we put 5 there and 5 there and spin. $80. That's a double zero. That's no good. All right, so we're going to rebet. Nope, now we're going to go 23, 35. So it's this one and spin. So 20 black, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 15 black, that's a loss. I'm going to rebet and spin. That's a 16 red. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's an 18 red. That's a $5 loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 7. Finally got the win. So we're going to, now the longest since it's hit is 18, 16, 15, 20. It's got to be this one. 5 and 5 and spin. $12 red. All right, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet. And we're not going to rebet. We're going to just put 5 and spin. That's a 3. That's a loss. Rebet and spin. It's a 13 black. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet. And no, we're not going to we're going to rebet and spin. Right, rebet. All right, rebet and spin. Another $5. That's a 20. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 17 black. That's a loss. So we're going to go ahead and rebet and spin. This is the final spin. Well, no. This will be down $200 now. 9. That's a loss. So we're going to go ahead and rebet and spin. It's a 22 black. All right, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. Just a heads up, we already lost $210, but however, being that we're playing conservatively, we are only down 135. Okay, that's another 5 and rebet and spin. $24 black, that's no good. Alright, so we're going to rebet and spin. So 31, that's finally a win. Alright, we need to get one of these. 31, 24, 2, so let's go 5 and 5. We need to hit this in the middle. That's an 18 red. It's a loss. So we're going to go ahead and play the longest one since it's hit is this one. 5 and spin. So 32 red, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 28 black, that should be a good one. Alright, so now we're gonna play the longest one since it's hit, which was this column and this one, and spin. $26, that's a loss. Alright, so we're gonna rebet. Rebet. Nope, we're not going to rebet. We're just going to rebet that and spin. So 14, that's a loss. And we're going to spin. So 3, that's finally a win. So now we're going to go longest since it's hit. 3, 14, let's go 26, 5 there and 5 there, and spin. I don't have to add one. That's a 7, that's a loss. So now we're gonna put the longest since it's hit. Still that last column, nope. Actually, this one, we made a mistake, but that's okay. Spin, doesn't matter, we wouldn't have won anyway. So 24 black, that's a good one. Alright, every time we get a win, we pocket $5, so it's kind of good, but we're not ahead. Alright, so the longest since it's hit was 24, 7, so it's this last column. We'll put $5 there and $5 in the center and spin. We just need a hit. That's what we need. Well, we don't add one because we didn't lose one. 1, now we did. Okay, so now we're gonna go $5 again and spin. And we're gonna add one here. That's a 7 red. All right, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. Maybe we should play follow the leader. That's a 0. That's not good for anybody. So we're going to rebet and spin. So 32 red, I think that's finally a win. It is. So now we're going to go, longest since it's hit was that middle column. So we're going to go 5 and 5, 5, and spin. Alright, that's a 9 red, that's a loss. Alright, so now we're gonna bet on that middle column again, 5, and spin. That's an 11, that's not win. So we're gonna rebet and spin. That's a 30 red. That's not a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. Alright, that's a 34 red. I think that's another loss. It is. So we're going to rebet and spin. Should play follow the leader with this. Okay. Follow the winner. You'll be doing a lot better. 1. That's not a win. So we're going to go ahead, rebet, and spin. So 32 red, that's no good. So we're going to go ahead, rebet, and spin. A coming across 300 now. That's a 20 black. That's finally a win. All right, so now we can put 20, 32, 1. So 1 is the, so we can put 5 and 5 here. And spin. Come on, we need one of these wins. And we don't mark anything off yet. That's a 25 red. That's no good. So now we're at $300 loss, but we only lost, so 25, 20. So the longest since it's hit is this one, $5 and spin. So but we're only down 210. So we win more, lose less, and that's what we're doing, losing less. So we're gonna rebat and spin. That's an 8 black. All right, we took a win. That's good. Rebat. Nope, we're not gonna rebat. Clear. Now we're going to go 8 and 31, so the middle column would be the longest since it's hit. We should have played follow the leader, I think. But anyway, we don't mark anything until we lose. That's a 16. That's a win. That's a good win. That's $35. Now we go to the next level. First time we're going to the next level, and this time we're going to pocket. We're going to put $10 on the longest since it's hit, which was 16, 8. So the longest since it's hit, we're going to put $10 there. And we're going to put $10 on a corner bet. All right, and we're going to go ahead and spin. So we're still pocketing some money. That's a 0. That's a loss. All right, so that's a loss. So now we're going to bet $5 again on the longest since it's hit, 16 and 8. Okay, the longest since it's hit is the third dozen, and let's go ahead and spin. That's a 6 black. That's a loss. So we're going to go ahead and rebat and spin. That's a 10 black. All right, that's a loss. So we're going to go ahead and rebat and spin. It's a 34 red. Okay, we got the win. So now we're going to do 34 and 10. So the middle column is the longest since it's hit, and we're going to put that clear. And we're going to put that $5 chip on there and spin. All right, and we don't have to do anything yet because we didn't lose 15. That's a win. All right, that's a $5 win. So with that, we just rebet and spin. We don't do anything else. That's a 27 red. That's a loss. So, all right, so we're going to go and do, I think we're going to rebat and spin. Rebat. Nope. And it's still this middle one. Now the longest one since it's hit now is 34. So that's that one, and spin. That's a 20 black. That's no good. It's another loss. Let's try to think if I wanted 15. Since it's hit, 10. Okay. Would have been the same. All right. Let's go ahead and now the longest since it's hit was this one, and spin. It's an 11 black. It's a win. So now we're going to put 11 and 20. So we're going to put 5 there and 5 there and spin. It's a 32 red. That's a good one. That's an excellent one. All right. So now I'm going to put $20 out there. $20 on the longest one since it's hit. 32, 30, 11. So it'll be this one. 5, 10, 5, oops, 5, 10. And spin. All right, let's hope to get a win here. If we get a win here, we'll be good. 25 red, but that's a loss. All right, so we lost that one. So now we're gonna put $5 on the longest one since it's hit, which would be 11. So it would be this one, 5, and spin. It's a 34 red. It's a loss. So we're gonna rebet. And spin. All right, that's a win. That's good. So now we're going to put $5 on the longest since it's hit. And $5 there and spin. Nothing down yet, not until you lose. So 26 black, that's a loss. So now you're gonna put $5 on not 26, not 19. So it's gonna be on this one, 5 and spin. And that's a 2 black. That's a win. All right, so now we're gonna take $10 and we're gonna put it on not the 2, not the 26, but this one, 5 and 5, and spin. Good night. And that is it for that. All right, that's a loss. Okay. So we're gonna, now we'll put $5 on the longest since it's hit, 33 and 2. So it'll be this one, 5 and spin. That's an 8 red, 8 black. That's a loss. And we're gonna, now we're gonna put $5 on the longest one since it's hit. 8, 33, okay, this one, 5, and spin. That's a 7 red, that's a loss. So now we're gonna rebet and spin. $27 red, that's another loss. So we're gonna rebet and spin. And you could also play this with dollar units with a $100 bankroll. That's a 30 red. All right, that's -5, that's a loss. Rebet and spin. That's a 4 black. All right, that's another loss. Okay, so now we're gonna rebet and spin. It's a 35 black. All right, that's another loss. So we're gonna rebet and spin. So 25 red. All right, that's another loss. So now we're going to rebet and spin. That's a double zero. That's not going to help anyone. So that's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 1 red. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. So 26 black. I believe that's a loss. Okay, we're at a $400 loss now, but we are only $260, I think. So we're gonna just rebet and spin. We're only at a $230 loss, so we're still ahead of the game technically. That's a 7. That's a loss. Okay, so let's rebet and spin. We need a nice comeback with the last $100 we have. That's a 22 black. All right, that's a $10 win. That's a good win. All right, so now we're gonna go longest since it's hit, 22 and 7. So we're gonna go 5 there and 5 there. And we're going to go ahead and spin. Come on, let's hope to get this. This will put us ahead a little bit. It's a 21 red. That's no good. All right, so that's a loss. So we got to go back to $5. $5 on 21, 22, 7. So $5 there and spin. I need a high number. That's a 9. That's no good. So now we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 27 red. That's finally a good one. All right, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put $5 there, $5 there, and spin. It's a 31 black. It's no good. All right, so now we're going to go back to 31, 27, 9. So go $5 there and spin. That's a 16 red. That's a good one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to rebet. Actually, we're going to go 16 was the last one, 31 the one before that, 27 before that, 9. Okay, so 5 and 5 and spin. One is a good number. Doesn't get us a jackpot, but we got our number. So we're just going to rebet and spin. Give it a second chance. That's a 30. That's no good. So that's a loss. So now we're going to go back to the 30 and the 1 and we're going to go back to the middle column and spin. We got 15 more spins, 32. All right, that's a miss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 23 red. That's a win. All right, so now we got 23, 32. So 1 is the last. So we're going to hit that one and that one and spin. So 3, that's a good one. Not a jackpot, but it's a good one where we can rebet and spin. That's a 0. That's no good. All right. All right, now we're back to base. So That's 3, that's 23, so 5 will go there and spin. That's an 8 black, that's no good, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. So 31 black. Alright, that's a hit. So now we're going to go longest since it's hit, 31 and 8. So that would be this middle column and that middle column and spin. Come on, let's get a big hit. Let's get 2 or 3 of these. 21. Let's get past the third stage. There you go. That's one stage. Okay. Now we're going to go to the next bet, which is 10 and 10. So on 21, on 31, on 8, 10, 5, 10, and 5, 10. 10. And spin. Let's see what we do here. Come on, let's get one of these for a change. It's a 29 black. That's no good. All right, that's a loss. All right, so now we're going to go back to the basics. 29 and 21 is in the middle. So we're going to go to this one. $5 there and spin. It's 2. That's a win, I believe. Yes. All right, let's try this again now. It's 2 and 29. So let's go $5 here and $5 here and $5 here and spin. Let's get a win. Let's get a winner. 29, that's no good. All right, so that's loss. So now we're going to go back to 29 and 2. So the longest one since it's hit would be that one. And spin. It's a 19 red. All right, that's a win. So we're going to go to the second stage, 19. Don't play 19, don't play 29, so play this one, 5 and 5, and spin. Come on, let's get this one. It's a 30, it's no good. That's a loss. All right, so now we're gonna go $5 here. Nope. $5 here, and spin. That's a 34 red. All right, that's a loss. So we're gonna go another $5 over here. 34, 30, 19, 25. Yeah, right here, 5 and spin. Yeah, we just gotta play rebet and spin. It's a 23 red. That's a loss. So we're just going to rebet and spin. $26 black, that's another miss. So we're going to rebet and spin. It's 25 red, that's another miss. So we're just going to rebet and spin. Alright, we got the win. Alright, so now we're going to go longest since it's hit, 25. And that. So we're going to go 5 there and 5 there and spin. It's 24 black. That's a win, but it's not a big win. But we can rebet and spin. That's a 7. That's a loss. Alright, so now we're going, that's already marked out, so now we're going to go 7, 24, so we're going to go 5 there and spin. We're down to our last 5 bullets. 36, that's a win though. Alright, so now let's, this one since it's hit is 36 and 7, so it'll be this middle column. And we're going to go there and spin. That's a 3, that's a loss. Alright, so now let's 3, rebet. Yep, and spin. Alright, this is the last 4. We got 4 more spins. That's a 0, that's no good. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next one. Notice since it's hit was 3 and 36, so it'll be the middle. So we're just going to rebet and spin. That's a 23 red. Alright, that's a win. Alright, so let's go to the second stage, which is 5 and 5. 23 and 3. Okay, so 5 and 5. And let's spin. Let's get a win. It's a 10, no. Alright, we got 2 more spins. We got 2 more bullets. So we're going to go with 10, 23. So we're going to go with 5 there and spin. That's a 4 black. That's no good. Alright, our final bullet. So we got rebet and spin on our final bullet. Let's do this with our final bullet. Wouldn't that be great if we go through the whole cycle? 36 red. Alright, that's a win. Alright, so now, notice since it's hit 36 and 4. 6 and 4, so it would be the middle column. 5 and 5. Let's do this. Wouldn't this be amazing? That's a 27 red, though. That's a loss. Alright, that's it. That was our final bullet. So, out of the $500, the good news is, out of the 500, we only lost $240. So, 500 minus 240. It's like we saved more than half. Yep. We saved $260 by playing the system and playing by the rules and playing by being disciplined. By being disciplined, we didn't go past where our thing is. Sure, we could keep going and just have another 48 more spins. We could keep going and go for another 48 spins. But by being disciplined, we definitely saved that money. So we only lost $240. So we actually saved $260 of our bankroll, and we could come back another day with that. And yeah, that's it. So let me know what you think of that system. It is a grind. It's a working grind. All right. So don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss another roulette spin. And if you have a roulette strategy, please send it to lvcasino.wars@gmail.com. Thank you guys, and you guys have a wonderful weekend.